Stage and Screen with Andy Snowden. Let us know what you want to hear on WhatsApp with the number 01978 540 410. We love local. Calon FM.
Oh, for Art's sake, 10cc back in 1975. Absolutely fantastic. 10cc are an English rock band formed in Stockport back in 1972, celebrating 50 years last year in the music industry. Formed originally with Kevin Godley, Lol Cream, Eric Stewart and bassist Graham Gouldman. And later this week, 10cc will continue their current world tour, coinciding with a solo British tour, heart full of songs with Graham Gouldman. And I am so pleased to say that he joins us on the line now on the Stage and Screen show. And Graham, thanks ever so much for joining us, my friend. I think it's fair to say it's been a dreadful time for everybody in the entertainment industry, but it's fantastic to see you back doing what you do best. How was lockdown for you? Did you manage to keep working okay?
Well, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, in that I found it quite a creative time, actually. I've got a studio at home, and I did an album, an instrumental album, which I've always wanted to do. I was helping various other musicians with doing library music and lots of bits and bobs, but really because of the studio I was quite occupied. Of course, it's not the same as working with, in the same room as somebody else.
Yeah.
But under the circumstances, looking back, I think I managed quite well with it.
Yeah, but you were documented on numerous occasions as stating that the Beatles were instrumental in your, not just your love for music, but your success. And just prior to lockdown, you toured with Ringo with his all-star band, and he's playing some of your songs. You must have been thinking, where on earth did it all go right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I actually wrote a song about it on my last solo album. The album was called Modesty Forbids, and the song was called Standing Next to Me, which basically tells the story of how it all came about with Ringo and what it was like being on the road with him.
And also, as well, I read this morning that Robert Plant has come up and personally thanked you for using one of your songs in his audition for getting into Led Zeppelin. I mean, do you get many moments like that?
Yeah, no, I've had one or two. I mean, Graham Nash has always been very, very complimentary to me and thanked me. He said, you changed my life because when they recorded Bus Stop, that was a big hit in America, and that really catapulted them to, major success in America. And of course, that led him to go and live in America and start off Crosby, Stills and Nash.
Well, also, as well, just by coincidence, as lockdown was lifted, my son graduated from the Royal Northern College of Music in Manchester. And and quite by coincidence, you were there getting your fellowship award. It was a terrific event. It was lovely.
It was very nice. It was a pity that we were all masked up, which was a shame.
Yeah.
But no, it was a great honour, and I was very proud to have been awarded that fellowship.
As you say, we all had to be masked up, and it was actually my son who got to sing the national anthem because. Oh
wow!
Because we weren't allowed to. Yeah. It was one of those moments, wasn't it? It was lovely to be back, but it was still kind of, we were all just getting used to being out.
Yeah, there was that, wasn't it?
Yeah. But anyway, I've got so many questions to ask you. It's difficult to know where to start, really, Graham. But so I suppose we'll start at the beginning. You started your professional career writing for other people. That takes an incredible amount of confidence in your own ability. Was you aware of your own confidence at such a young age?
Not really. I mean, songwriting came really naturally to me, so I wasn't aware of doing it. I knew I was doing it, and it was only when other people started recording the songs that I wrote that I realised, well, there's something, I've got it right somehow. But songwriting is there's nothing clever about it. It's a gift, and that's why you can't really learn it. although there is some discussion that AI is going to take over, but let's not go there at the moment. That's too horrific to think about. I was lucky in lots of ways. I met the right people at the right time. I was encouraged by my parents. The music that I grew up with went into my blood, really, and those influences are still remain the same to this day, and will be with me for the rest of my life.
You often hear people saying that their parents would say, "When on earth are you going to get a real job?" But you,
right.
you were lucky. You almost had a writing partnership with your dad at times.
Well, I had a writing partnership with my dad. My parents realised I was absolutely awful at school. I was not interested in anything. I was daydreaming about music all day, and they, because of that, they knew it was hopeless, that I was definitely going to do something in music, and they encouraged me, so I was really lucky with that.
I've heard you say that it was your dad's idea for Herman's Hermits, No Milk Today, which you both wrote, and you thought it was dreadful.
But not only did he come up with song titles, he wrote lyrics as well. It was a very kind of rare partnership that we had, but it was great. I had a lyricist in the house.
And a few years ago, I interviewed Barry Whitwam of Herman's Hermits, and he was talking about when he gave up his day job to be a drummer, and his dad said, "You can do it as long as you treat it like a 9-to-5 job. You can stop for your lunch and toilet breaks, but you need to practice every day." And I thought, it's an excellent idea, actually. You can only get better doing it that way, right?
Yeah, that's a weird thing to say, isn't it? A 9-to-5 job is anything but.
Yes.
But it's it's a fantastic life if you can do it and make it. Like anything. If you love your work, it's a blessing, and it's not really work.
Yeah. Absolutely. And guitar, you were given a guitar by your cousin as a gift, I hear. And did it come naturally to you playing the guitar?
Right away. I fell in love with it on the day I got it. I'd become aware of music when I was about 7 years old, and wanted to play the drums, but that wasn't to be. But when I got the guitar, I took to it right away.
Because it's not the easiest thing in the world to play.
Well, it's the same as anything. It's easy for me and any other guitarist, but not for someone else. But don't give me a violin, because I'd be absolutely crap. But the guitar I'm okay on.
Well, my son learned to play a violin in school. I say learned; he played the violin in school, and you need to have a lot of time on your hands. A big house works if you've got a kid playing the violin.
Yeah, you mean you put him at one end and you stay at the other end?
Yeah. Go practice in the garage. That'll do.
Yeah, actually, we have a cellist who lives above us, and he's not very good. And we've been listening to him over the years. He's not got any better. But actually, I'd still like to hear the sound. Where we live, there's quite a lot of musicians, and you hear people singing or playing, or someone plays a trumpet down the road. I really like to hear that. It's really nice.
I'm always intrigued when you write for other people. Do you know kind of instinctively on what you want to keep for yourself and what to give away?
No, I just write because I have the need to create something, and then make a decision. These days it's very, very difficult for any songwriter to get songs placed, particularly say a writer of my generation. A lot of the people that write for a lot of the major artists today are working like massive teams. But, if you look at the credits on some of the records, the production and songwriting credits, they can be like 6 or 7 or 8 people.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different industry, and I'm glad I'm not starting today. Although it'd be interesting to think how I would have fared in today's climate, but it's irrelevant really. I happen to have been born at exactly the right time.
Yeah.
With as I said, with the encouragement that I got and the music that I was listening to growing up. There'll be a lot of stuff that the majority of people will not be aware of. I put out various solo albums that I'm very, very proud of, but someone like me isn't necessarily going to get a lot of attention. I suppose it's the nature of things that people will listen to music more, or the listening public is the majority are going to be younger people, and they've got their own music.
Yeah, which leads us brilliantly on to talking about 10cc, and it's last year, 2022, you celebrated 50 years in the business. Are you surprised by the longevity of that?
Yeah, it's something that you only think about once, a few decades have gone by. It's not something you think of when we started the band. I never thought that, I'm the only one that's still, taking the music on the road.
Uh-huh.
But the fact of the matter is, really, that there's a demand for it. And those songs, which I consider sort of the stars of the show, have stood the test of time. So people want to hear those songs, and I'm happy to. I love playing. I'm with a fantastic bunch of musicians and their friends, really, and we just have a great time playing and doing it. And we've got busier and busier. In part because of the pandemic, a lot of stuff that had to be pushed forward like 2 or 3 times. So this year's a very, very busy year indeed. And then we've got big tours booked for next year as well.
Fantastic. And originally you were with Kevin Godley, of course, Lol Cream, yourself and Eric Stewart. I've heard you described as having 2 sets of Lennon and McCartney writing teams in the same band, which is that how it felt? Was there two writing teams?
It wasn't always like that. Rubber Bullets was written by Kevin and Lol and myself. We did mix it up a bit, but lots of the bigger hits were, Rubber Bullets was a big hit. It was actually number 1. There were kind of two teams generally. And when you
took a song to put it on the table, was it whoever voice suited
the job? Yeah, the principle was whoever's best for the job. That's why we had, it's a good example. We had 3 number 1 singles with 3 different singers.
And yours was Dreadlock Holiday,
yes.
Which arguably is the song that everybody in the world knows. We've just come back from Jamaica, and it was being played everywhere, as you'd imagine.
Oh, really? That's great.
But songs like Dreadlock Holiday, I didn't realise until I was a lot older. I'd been listening to it for the best part of 30 years, and I realised it was a story. It was because everybody knows the chorus, of course.
Well, yeah. Some of it is. Some of it's based on fact, and some of it's made up. But yeah, it's a song that we do. We're doing a Heart Full of Songs tour that that's coming out. We're going out in March.
Yeah.
And that's one of those songs where you look out into the audience, and everybody, joins in on the choruses.
Yeah.
Which is really great. That's a fantastic thing to watch an audience singing the words back to you.
And it's one of those strange songs that you don't get it that often, where the chorus is just slightly different every time.
Well, the words, yes, but there's different things that we don't like, that we love.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. So you must get the audience, their mouths singing the wrong words back at you quite a lot. Yeah. But you're on the road at the moment. It seems like a continuous 10cc World Tour intertwined with your own tour, Heart Full of Songs. Tell us about that then. What's that? Does the solo differ much from a 10cc show?
Absolutely, yeah, because it's where I get to sing songs I've either written or co-written over the decades. Starting with the songs I wrote in the 60s for the Hollies, Yardbirds, Herman, Hermits, and a few other people. 10cc songs, obviously. Songs I wrote with Andrew Gold for Wax, various film music, various album tracks. One of the most recent songs that I'll be doing is I put a record out last year with Brian May called Floating in Heaven.
Uh-huh.
Which was written about the James Webb Space Telescope. If nobody's heard of that, you should look it up. It's a fantastic thing. So right up to, songs that I've written from the mid-60s right up to today.
And it must be quite... the problem must be knowing what to leave out in a way, because you've had such a back catalogue.
Yeah, I mean, I could do 2 or 3 days if I wanted to. But no, I know I'm very aware of what an audience wants. And once you've done a set list, if something's not working, it becomes really apparent. You know, you just feel it's like this is in the wrong place, or maybe this shouldn't be in at all. So I have sort of honed it down over the years, and with a few additions and a few subtractions to what I think is a really lovely, entertaining and interesting set. I also get to talk about how the inspiration behind songs as well, which people are always absolutely fascinated by.
Yeah, definitely. For us North Walians, you'll be playing the Atkinson in Southport on the 14th of March, Shrewsbury's Theatre 7 on the 22nd, and then Salford Lowry on the 23rd of March. It sounds like an absolute cracker, Graham. It's
it's great. It's something I really enjoy. It's very different from the 10cc gig, but I find that whatever I'm doing, I think that's the best thing I'm doing at the time. So I'm really looking forward to doing that again.
Heart Full of Songs tour is what it's called, and on the road in March. It sounds extraordinary. Graham, it's been a treat to speak to you this afternoon. Thanks ever so much for that. I really appreciate it.
All right, Andy. Cheers. Nice speaking to you too.
All right, mate. You take care of yourself.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye. Graham Gouldman from 10cc will be on tour this coming March. Heart Full of Songs tour will be playing at Southport, the Atkinson, on Tuesday the 14th of March. Then the Shrewsbury Theatre 7 on the 21st of March, and then the Salford Lowry on the 23rd. Go check out Graham Gouldman. Brilliant, still got it going on, fantastic.
I heard a dark voice beside us.
Stage and Screen with Andy Snowden. Let us know what you want to hear on WhatsApp with the number 01978 540 410. We love local.